Hey, how's it going, YouTube? This is Matty Ice of the Stone Family, bringing you into Infernomen's channel for the Elite Battle League Season 3 preseason interview. We are here today with Landon, aka Infernomen, aka the Shiny King, aka my little brother, and we're going to be doing an interview with him today to discuss everything before the season starts, and we're going to hit it off with the hardest hitting question out of the entire questionnaire that we have today. How are you doing today, sir?
How could you just throw that at me? I'm doing okay. Woke up around 10, I'd say. Started editing a video that I wanted to put out on Saturday, but that isn't happening. But keep an eye out, guys. That video is going to be great. It has TimmyB in it. But yeah, basically I just decided I'm going to edit that later instead of today, and basically I've just been sitting around playing games and watching videos, so yeah.
Waiting for me.
Waiting for you.
Oh, by the way, shout outs to Infernomen merch. It can be picked up in the description below. I am actually wearing my Infernomen hoodie right now because why not wear the legendary merch while speaking to the legendary content creator himself.
Appreciated.
Alright, so we're going to jump into the real questions here. With us inching ever closer to the start of the season, granted we're about 3.5 weeks away or something like that. I think it's like maybe 3 weeks away. What's going through your head as we're getting closer to the season, though, for Season 3?
Mostly, you know, I haven't started, like, building up my team yet, so most of it's, like, you know, when I'm gonna start doing that, because when I did it for Season 2, it only took me 2 days, so I don't really need to rush it or anything. But I need to figure out when to do that. I also gotta get the trailer done, and I also have to plan with Timmy when to do the preseason weekly roundup too, so that's mostly it. But overall, I'm excited to battle any newcomers or any people that I didn't battle in the previous season. I don't think I battle anybody that I fought last season in the regular season, do I? Because I battle Luigi, I battle Tara, I battle Doorman, Alan, I battle Ace, who I didn't battle last season, and who else do I battle?
I mean,
I battle Pidge, so all people I didn't battle last season, so 4 newcomers and 1 returning member.
So, well, is the wife a newcomer?
Her and Ace are like,
they're weird. They're weird.
Yeah, it's Tara's first season having her own team, so she's basically a newcomer.
So I will say, before we go any further, honestly, shout outs to Lonely Hermit, and I know you're okay with me doing this, for everything he did for the previous seasons for the Elite Battle League. But we are grateful that you are stepping up. Thank you so much, Landon. Personally, that's from me personally. You know, I don't care about anyone else when it comes to this. I appreciate you stepping up, doing everything you are doing for the Elite Battle League this season with the intro, the roundups, and just helping out overall. It really means the world to me. And you're taking on more responsibility, so hopefully that doesn't hinder your season.
Yeah, hopefully not. I mean, I still will practice plenty with Guanako, as I did last season. You know, get ready for my matches and stuff like that. The weekly roundup, I would prefer to be the main roundup host, but Timmy decided that he wanted to keep that, so I'm doing the editing and uploading it to the channel, but he gets to be the guy that introduces everything, so. Shout out to Timmy, I guess.
Yeah, he snuck in and stole that one from you. So, are you feeling more confident heading into your second season compared to your first season?
I learned a lot from the first season, especially, like, you know, you can't always trust that, like, the first few weeks I practiced on Pokemon Showdown when I should have been practicing with the actual team, because I was, like, going in with the team I wanted to use and battling a bunch of people that were using Pokemon that my opponent didn't even have, and I think that was a mistake. So I basically, while I won my first 2 matches, like, Derek, me practicing on Pokemon Showdown was a terrible idea because like nobody had Cinderace and nobody had anything that Derek has that's good. So like basically like doing the whole season where I practice with Guanako is going to be better because, you know, I can prepare for everybody rather than just one team. I mean, a couple teams. I'm hoping to make it further in the playoffs than I did last season, considering the new system that we're putting in with it, and that's different than last season. I'm feeling better about my season this season than last season, especially since I drafted everyone that I actually wanted this season. Offline's also going to be helping me use that team to the advantage, so I think I have a lot of help going into this season versus last season where, you know, I kind of got lucky with the first two matches because you told me your entire team. Jack basically gave away his entire team, and then after that, you know, I didn't really get that much practice in.
Well, I mean, and you kind of answered the next question. So, how are your preparations going? Have you changed anything in the way you're preparing for your second season versus your first? I know you said you're going to practice with Guanako more and not do Showdown as much. Is there any other thing you're going to change?
I think I'm going to, like, spend less time, like, trying to fight the team that I think they're going to bring and do every possible situation, because the first time I practiced with Guanako, we did a lot of prepping for the team that I thought that Foos was going to bring, and then he ended up bringing Bolseflon, which ended up being his MVP. It was the weekly MVP that week, so obviously that went wrong for me. And then taking on Josh in week 5, we prepared for literally every Pokemon on his team, considering that he could bring anything else but the Leafeon, which ended up bringing my demise. So I think a lot of the time when I lose, it's to a Pokemon we didn't prep for. Because that's literally what happened. We didn't prepare for Bolseflon, I lost to Bolseflon. We didn't prepare for Leafeon. Leafeon was mostly the reason why I lost to Josh, and we didn't prepare for his Derek Salamence being faster, and his Salamence took out my team, so.
And you had back-to-back weeks, if I'm not mistaken, where the MVP came from the team you fought last week, or last season, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, like, first week, obviously, you know, I fought you, so you're in another division. Second week, that was not, I didn't have an MVP, Jack didn't have an MVP. Week 3 was when Foos won, Bolseflon was his. Week 4 was Derek, because I'm pretty sure he swept somebody that week. I think he swept Max that week, so he got the MVP.
No, Derek swept on week 5 because I swept week 4.
Oh, okay.
And it was Max, but it was week 5. Because I swept Wolf on week 4.
Oh wait, no, Derek.
Yeah.
Derek fought me week 4, so he wouldn't have swept me. He didn't sweep me. But his MVP was Cinderace.
Yeah, so back-to-back weeks where the MVP was against you.
Yeah, and then week 5, the MVP was not from Josh's team. I think it was from Derek's again.
Yeah, you got lucky with the sweep.
Yeah.
All right, so do you, going into your second season here, season 3, do you have any specific goals for this season? Obviously, I'm gonna guess winning the championship's one of them now.
Well, obviously, if you don't have that as one of your goals, you underestimate yourself, and you're gonna end up having a bad season because you put yourself down. But another goal is to get at least one MVP. I believe I'm the only returning member that doesn't have an MVP besides Max, right? Max has never had an MVP.
I'm looking at the returning players. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Everyone else has at least one weekly MVP. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not as bad for me because I've only done one season, but Max has got 2 whole seasons without an MVP. So, Max, I hope one of your goals is to get an MVP as well. It should be. You will. But yeah, I'm hoping that I get my first MVP this season. Incineroar was my seasonal MVP last season, so I can see that happening, but I see my Slowking putting in the work in a couple other months as well, so hopefully I get an MVP this season. I'm looking at Celesteela too, so. And Tapu Koko, that thing has a higher chance of getting MVP than Tapu Lele. And Tapu Lele almost got MVP week 1. It only got taken from me because Zekrom didn't faint. So.
Yeah. Alright, so looking at the team you drafted, how do you think your draft went? And did you have any plans heading into the draft? Obviously, you don't have to get too specific.
So my draft went perfect because offline beforehand what order I should draft, and I ended up not losing any of my Pokemon. So I ended up drafting everything I wanted to. So that was really nice. What was your other question besides like how the draft went?
Did you have any plans heading into the draft?
Did I have any plans? So yeah, I think I basically just named that because my plan was just to use offline's order, and I just randomly pick when I could. My first thought was to take Incineroar because you guys are joking around saying you were going to draft it if I didn't first round.
I was about to mention that.
So I was like, I'm going to take Incineroar. He's just like, no, take it third turn. Like, you don't need to go for Incineroar. Nobody's going to take it. So I took Koko first round, and I took Celesteela second. And I was going to take Celesteela third, but it's a good thing that I went for second. And if I had gone for first, it would have been much better because Pidge has revealed that he wanted to take Celesteela for his team as one of his legendary slots. So if I hadn't taken it second round, he might have picked it up before I did. So I'm glad I went for legendaries first. Only a couple of coaches didn't take their legendaries first. Everybody else basically took their legendaries first, and that's what offline mentioned. And basically, like, it went from like right away take your legendaries, then after that go with what you think other people will take if you don't take it, and then end with like what nobody's gonna take, which is why I ended with Wyvern and Tyrantrum, because like nobody else was gonna take them.
Yeah, that's why I picked up Glalie, because I was like, you know what, especially looking at Derek's team, I was like, I need a freeze dry Pokemon.
Vanillix returns as my freeze dry Pokemon, so
yeah, so
but
so
I also
I went
have
ahead
Tapu
and picked
Koko,
up
so
Glalie.
I also have Tapu Koko.
Should be interesting. I don't think you have to fight Derek, but I mean, if you got to meet him in the playoffs, it'll be an interesting matchup.
He said that he only took Cinderace so nobody else could, and I don't think. Yeah. I feel like he's not going to use it in regular season, especially since Cinderace can't learn any water type moves, and he's obviously got a Drizzle team. But
well, he's got to bring it once.
He's got to bring it once regular season. He has to at some point, but. I think that if we meet in the playoffs, he's going to bring it just so he can knock me down. Especially if I do better this season than I did last season. He's going to want to knock me down. He's going to bring that Cinderace. So hopefully I don't have to battle him in the playoffs. Hopefully somebody else knocks him out before I have to face him.
That's me with Guanako, bro. I'm sitting there like, somebody knock out Guanako before I got to play him. Alright, so you already answered this, but I'm going to go ahead and ask just to, verification purposes, stuff like that. So you did not have any picks stolen throughout the entire draft?
Nope, not even my backups. My only backups were Zeraora and, what else? Celebi, I think? And
I was looking at Zeraora as well.
Mm-hmm. Zeraora, Celebi, and like one other thing, and I don't really remember what that was, but that wasn't even taken. I was thinking Alolan Raichu because last season, when Guanako and I were talking about me taking Tapu Koko this season, we were talking about how it would have been nice for me to have Tapu Koko instead of Tapu Lele, because Tapu Lele doesn't have the electric terrain, which would have helped Raichu because it doubles the speed of any electric types.
Right.
I mean, not any electric types of Raichu with its ability. So it would have helped out Raichu a lot, which is why we put electric terrain on it for Derek's battle, which I obviously ended up not being able to use it because the Salamence destroyed my team. But, it's just ironic that I ended up taking Tapu Koko, but offline's just like, you don't have to take Alolan Raichu. So that's how that ended up going.
So how do you feel about your team that you were able to draft?
I think I have a pretty unique team. That's what I'm most proud of. I think I took a lot of Pokemon not a lot of people would think of. And I got to think offline for that, because just like last season, I've done this both seasons. I just hand offline screenshots of all my shinies in Pokemon Home, and then he just goes through the list and based on what I say that I want on my team for sure, he builds like a team around that core. And Tapu Koko is my core this season. He just built around that. He said I needed a strong steel type. He forgot that we can have 2 legendaries, so I said, well, what about Celesteal or Stack Attacker? He said Celesteal is probably better. And then, you know, Incineroar. Actually didn't have Vanillix as a Pokemon I wanted to bring back, but he listed it. He said you should bring back Vanillix, and that's actually gonna help.
But I mean, it did well for you season 2, so not a bad choice at all.
Yeah, and then Tangrowth is a good healing core, like, you know, if I need to heal and stuff like that. I was kind of interested in the fact that he had me choose Johto Slowking instead of Galarian Slowking, but he says that it being water type helps me over it being poison type, because you don't really need a poison type. Because not a lot of people use fairy types, but I have Celesteela for that, so.
Yep, exactly.
And you know, people don't usually use dragons in VGC anymore because of the fairy type, but you know, there's reasons for me having Noivern and Tyrantrum, so. Yeah,
we got a couple dragons in the league this season.
Yeah, I'm really excited to use my team to its advantage, like my advantage, you know, stuff like that. The only thing that I'm terrified is if I ever have to go up against Guanako, his Eternatus will destroy my team.
Yeah, that thing's scary. So you gotta hope Derek and Guanako get knocked out. You just got an easy ride to the championship.
Yeah, the only hope I have is that my Slowking like gets some good psychic type hits off on it, because it's gonna be neutral.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll work out for you.
Yeah.
Is there a specific Pokemon on your team the others should keep an eye out for, like kind of a sleeper Pokemon on your side?
Honestly, if I had to look at my whole team, I'd say that, like, you know, you might underestimate Vanillix. I know a lot of people did last season, but it having Freeze Dry, Hail, and Blizzard is, like, really dangerous, especially with the Dragon types coming in this season. Derek's team is probably, if I ever have to fight Derek, as long as he doesn't bring that Cinderace, my Vanillix destroys. So he's definitely going to bring Cinderace and kill my Vanillix if we ever meet up in the playoffs. So, but, you know, Vanillix is one to keep an eye out for, but that's not it. The Slowking is as well. Obviously, you guys aren't underestimating my legendaries, so I won't name that, but the Slowking is definitely going to do some damage. And the Hitmontop. Those three. Vanillix, Hitmontop, and Slowking.
Yeah, I won't lie to you, the Hitmontop, I was personally, when I saw that pick, I was like, wait, what? So I'm curious to see what you do with the Hitmontop more than any other Pokemon.
I mean,
so
again, Offline didn't explain 100% what he meant, but he said, yeah, you could use that Hitmontop, and I'm like, I'm going to ask him more about that later, because...
Yeah, definitely, because you need to know what it's there for.
Yeah.
Like, sir, we drafted this, but what is he here for? Alright, so do you think you potentially have an MVP on your team? Like a season MVP, not just weekly, but for the whole season? Or will your team be more balanced across the board?
I was actually surprised last season when I found Incineroar was my season MVP. I know it's because it got knocked out less than my other strong team members, but if Tapu Lele was a strong contender last season, Tapu Koko is going to be even stronger this season, so keep an eye out for my Tapu Koko, because it's definitely going to bring the power. Also, I need to mention that I'm talking about Derek bringing his Cinderace against me if we ever fight. Why do you think I drafted Tapu Koko? Not only because it's a good electric fairy type and can destroy a lot of people, but it's also my weapon for that Cinderace. I'm not focusing on Derek's Cinderace. His team is almost completely water type. But Tapu Koko against Derek's team, none of the moves that Cinderace can learn are super effective against Tapu Koko, considering that electric resists steel, so Iron Head would be neutral. Derek, you gotta watch out for my Tapu Koko, because it's gonna destroy your team.
And just to remind the viewers, the way to get a season MVP is basically your Pokemon has to have the highest kill-death ratio at the end of the season. And I can truly see Tapu Koko doing that. You know, it's going to be difficult to knock out. It's going to get a few kills. So I could see Tapu Koko. Honestly, if I had to pick one from your team, that would be my pick.
Yeah, like, everybody was afraid of my Tapu Lele last season, and if you think that was scary, here comes the chicken.
Thanks. So, are you pretty confident about your ability to use your team to its fullest potential in Season 3?
I think, honestly, if I'm given enough tips on how to balance my team and, like, use other Pokemon to their advantage and stuff like that, like Tangrowth, I was afraid of using that, but literally, like, I'm doing a Fire Red Hardcore Nuzlocke right now, and I have Venusaur. I had Venusaur as my healing core before I lost, and, like, using that felt good. So I think that Tangrowth is gonna be, like, you know, really good on my team. So just thinking about that, like, any Pokemon that I have any doubts about or stuff like that, I feel like once I get to know, like, how to use them a little bit more, I can definitely use my team to my best advantage.
Hey, use your Nuzlocke, learn from them, and kind of switch it over to the EDL side.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. That's a great strategy. Alright, so we're going to move back to the divisions a little bit. You are in the Dynamax division.
Yep.
With myself, who coaches the Atlanta Breviary, Always More Videos, aka Derek, who coaches the Kentucky Gamblers, the Doorman, who coaches the Texas Tyranitar, Pokepidge, who coaches the Essex Espeons, and then last but not least, the Meme King himself, Latin Luigi, who is the coach of the Tijuana Gengar. When you saw this group in your division, what were your original thoughts?
Of their teams?
Well, no, just the coaches and just the coaches themselves and who's in your division.
Derek, I saw him as, you know, before when Guanako said he's definitely taking the Cinderace, I was just like, well, okay, good thing I'm not in Guanako's division, because I have lots of chance to fight him, and if I end up fighting Derek, hopefully I can get, like, an actual good match in against him for the first time without him having Cinderace. And then I found out that Guanako said that he was going to take something else first pick and let Derek take the Cinderace. I was a little worried, but then you came out with the schedule, and I was like, thank God I don't battle Derek. But, I mean, with my Tapu Koko, I'm less afraid of his team. It's just that if my Tapu Koko slips, I'm probably screwed against him, so... he's
yeah. Go ahead.
Just because of that, like, if Derek and I ever fight, like, he's definitely going to prepare for my Tapu Koko, but I don't know, like, how he can do that to his best looking at his team. Like, he doesn't have any poison types. I mean, he has Pokemon that can learn poison type moves, but I don't know how strong those moves are going to be.
And I have been reminding in every single interview that I've done. This season we're doing it a little bit differently. Yes, we have the two divisions. Top 4 from each division will make it, meaning that 6 teams? No, 4 teams will not make the playoffs. However, once we get into the playoffs, divisions will be dropped, and the 8 teams will be shuffled in highest ranking to lowest ranking. So we can be facing different divisions in the playoffs immediately instead of it being 2 of the different divisions in the championship, guaranteed. So that's going to change things up a little bit. That's going to be interesting. You might be able to battle people you didn't realize you were going to be able to battle, you know, so that makes it interesting. So did seeing your division make you more excited for the season to start, or make you more nervous? How are you feeling at that point?
I feel more excited. Like, going back to your question about, like, how I feel about all the coaches, I only talked about Derek, but like you, I don't battle you regular season either, but I mean, like, these are all Pokemon I can prepare for, so I know that.
But if I meet you in the playoffs, I'm coming back for vengeance because of freaking Alolan Raichu.
Alan Doorman, he said that he's afraid of my team, but I'm not gonna underestimate him, so I can definitely prep for his team, but I guess we'll just have to see how that battle goes. Pidge, I mean, Offline's been talking about how his team is, like, the strongest looking one, stuff like that, and, like, everybody's talking about his team, so his match will definitely be something that I have to prepare a lot for, like, looking at it. Like, I have counters for all of his team, but, like, I gotta prep more to prepare, like, because his team is pretty stacked. Like, the Confe looks like it's his healing core, but it does have some attacks too, so, you know, that's not all, but, you know, him. And then Luigi said that he was just going to draft a team that was going to troll everybody, but as you can see, that's not really what he went for, so I'm excited to battle him. But, like, looking at my division, everything like that, I think I'm going to have some fun matches this season, and, you know, looking at my whole schedule and seeing the two that I battle from the other division, I'm excited to battle them as well.
There you go. So is there anyone in the league that you might consider your rival?
Well, Josh is gone, so I can't say him anymore. If I had to say anybody, I'd probably say Derek, honestly, just because, you know, we don't fight each other in the regular season, but there's always that chance for the playoffs, and
Yeah.
I'm coming for revenge for both matches last season, him knocking me out of the playoffs, so.
I'll give you a spoiler. Latin said nobody to begin with, and I brought up your banter, yours and his banter back and forth, and he was like, "Yeah, I can see that." So probably Landon. So Latin did call you out.
I consider Luigi a rival too, but, you know, he's my last match of the regular season. You know, I mean, if you look at my battle with Josh, although I did lose because of the Leaf Yawn, I got really close to beating him because I had learned a lot throughout the season. If I ended up fighting Josh like week 1 or 2, I definitely would have lost by like a lot more. So
Definitely. So you're gonna have time to prep for Latin, and maybe you can show him that you might not be the rival that he wants.
honestly, if I could personally tell you who I think Luigi should like make his rival, I'd probably say, you know, considering his team and everything like that, I'd probably say that his biggest rival would probably be Guanako. If I had to be perfectly honest with you, because not only do their legendaries, like, he's got Xerneas, which would be super effective against Eternatus if it wasn't poison type, and you know, I'd say that their teams pretty much combat each other, so I think that he'd probably be a good rival for Guanako.
Yeah, and that's interesting how rivals are made in this league, because we've got the behind-the-scenes rivals where we're talking smack to each other. Then we've got, like, me and Max, where we've battled 3 times. Max has never beaten me, so we're obviously rivals, you know, because Max is coming for first win against me, and I'm trying not to ever lose to him. So that's a rivalry. And then you've got matches that you've lost to someone, and you're trying to get vengeance, so you see them as a rival, but they might not see you as a rival. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I don't think Derek would see me as a rival at all, to be honest with you. He'd probably say Guanako out of anybody, just because he beat him in the championships.
I can see that, because I said that for going into season 2 about Guanako, so I could definitely see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, knowing that you can play anyone in the playoffs, regardless of division, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone that you're not battling from the other division? Or actually, I guess we could say from any division, because you're not battling everyone from your division. Is there anyone that you would like to battle that you're not battling this season come playoff time?
I mean, besides Derek, now that, you know, I've talked about Tapu Koko and everything, honestly, I'd want to fight Bob just because of how positively Derek talks about his battling and stuff like that. I want to see how he battles, especially since he drafted, 2 Pokemon that I had last season, so.
Yeah, I am curious to see how Yeltneb does. It's interesting for me, because Derek has talked him up quite a bit.
Yeah, and he's also got a Dragon Poison type, so.
Yeah, very interesting teams. I think everyone's team this season is very well rounded for the most part. So looking at each division, who do you think is the most dangerous from each division? And if you could, please don't include your own team.
Okay, just because you told me not to, I'm gonna include my own team. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm just gonna agree with Offline and say Pidge is probably the most dangerous from our division. I'd say Derek would be automatic if he was using Cinderace again, but he literally drafted it so nobody else could, so I don't even know how often he's really planning on using it. Because I feel like if he uses it like on purpose, besides the one match he has to bring it, he's just gonna look like a bully or something, because he's just like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna win this, so I'm gonna bring the Cinderace so I don't lose.
Well, and the thing with the Cinderace is you can change it from the fire typing, which makes the water not hurt it near as much. So.
Yeah, that is true. But I'd say, like, you know, Pidge from our division, and then in the opposite division, I mean, I'd probably say that the most dangerous looking team would be, it's kind of hard because I don't want to say Guanako because it's going to seem like I'm just taking a side no matter what, but like, it doesn't.
I mean, he's a two-time champion.
It doesn't matter what team he brings. He knows how to use these teams to his advantage no matter what he has. So, like, isn't this like his third season in a row he's used Whimsicott?
No, he had it. He didn't have it the first season.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I really want to say Bob, but, like, you know, Bob does battle really well from what I've heard from Derek, but like, knowing Guanako and everything like that, I'd probably say he's the most dangerous, but Bob is a close second. And I know that, you know, when Ace did battle last season, like, he did really well, but he builds his team around Guanako so he can defeat Guanako. I think Ace is really in this so he can show Guanako up. He doesn't really care about who else he battles. He just wants to build a team to fight Guanako. So
yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I mean, that's literally what Guanako said. He says, "Yeah, Ace builds teams to like combat mine. He doesn't really care about anybody else."
Yeah, I completely 100% agree. I've heard Ace say that. So, but on the flip side of that, is there a team in the entire league that you think someone might be sleeping on who is probably going to be better than most people think?
I think Alan, because he talks bad about himself, man. Like, if you talk bad about yourself in the EBL, let me tell you firsthand from personal experience, you're better than you think. And, you know, I didn't think I'd ever do VGC, but then I got into the EBL as the weekly roundup host season 1, and then got used to VGC, and I did a lot better. Although I only won 2 matches, I did a lot better last season than I thought I was going to. So, honestly, like, Alan underestimates himself, and you guys are probably underestimating him as well. So, I'd say that Alan is definitely one to keep an eye on. I mean, I'm not saying like he's a weapon, like an absolute boss, like I was talking about Pidge and Bob and Guanako, but he's definitely going to be better this season than he thinks and some might think.
Yeah, if you go back and you look at the history of the people that have talked bad about themselves, season 1 we had Derek, made it to the first round of the playoffs, lost. He turned around in season 2 and went to the championship. Season 2, you talked bad about yourself, made it to the first round of the playoffs, lost. So now we got to see what you do season 3. So I can see Doorman being that person, you know, talks bad about himself, makes it to the playoff, loses, comes back season 4, who knows where he's at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we kind of have a history of repeating itself, but you got to make the championship. Like, we got to get you there.
Yeah, my main goal, of course, is to make it to the championship, but a subsidiary goal, I guess you could say, is make it to the playoffs better than I barely made it. Because that was last season. Like, I had a secured spot in the playoffs, but then I lost a couple times, and then I barely made it into the playoffs just because Jack lost to Foos.
Right. So you want to secure your spot pretty early.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to bring in this last question. This is going to end off the interview here. This is coming from the previous 2 seasons. Why are you going to be the champion of the Elite Battle League at the end of Season 3?
I'm going to be the champion of Season 3 of the Elite Battle League because I'm not underestimating I'm not underestimating myself this season. I'm not underestimating anyone else. And I'm not overestimating anybody except for Guanako, who I may or may not be fighting this season anyway, so it's okay. That's all I gotta say.
There you go. Hey, the confidence is real, and I like it. You gotta have confidence in this league, or everyone's just gonna walk all over you. So, is there anything here right before we close out that you would like to plug? Obviously, you've got the merch. I'm showing it off on screen. Anything else you would like to plug?
Yeah, honestly, if you just go down in the description, you can find anything I want you guys to check out. I got Twitter. I need to get into the funk of uploading my shiny reactions soon, but I have a TikTok that I also upload my shorts to. I've got a Discord server you guys can join. I got to remove the Instagram from my description because I'm going to deactivate that account, but I'm going to follow it before it's gone, I guess. I have a Facebook page if you boomers want to check that out. Follow it, like it, you know, that kind of stuff.
Personally attacked.
Other than that, if you guys want to become a member, there's a link down there as well. There should be a join button next to the subscribe button, but a lot of people can't find that for some reason. I think YouTube's like removing it or something. I don't know.
Well, if you're on iPhone, it doesn't appear.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you want to become a member, I'd appreciate that. That should be down in the description. And content-wise, we got some challenge videos on the way. You should be subscribing to the Elite Battle League channel, which I will put down in the description as well as all the coaches' channels. So subscribe to all of that stuff. In terms of video content, as soon as Jack, Derek, and Josh are done with their 3-way versus of BDSP, we're going to be doing an RS2v2 Soul Link where me and Josh will be fighting Derek and Jack. Gosh. Stream content, currently I'm doing a Shining Pearl Shiny Lock. As of right now, I'm shiny hunting Zubat in the Wayward Cave before Maylene's gym, and hunting Entei and DAs. Hopefully that's over when this goes up, but if it's not, join me for some DAs. And I also have a hardcore Nuzlocke Gen Sweep going on. Currently we're doing Fire Red and you know, a bunch of other games. Check out my streams. That's where most of my content, you know, goes into the stream, so definitely should be watching my streams. We do Smash Bros. Friday, so hope to see you there for that.
There you go, I love it. Alright guys, make sure y'all check them out. And that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Our preseason interview with Infernomen, aka Landon, aka the Shiny King, aka my little brother. He is the coach of the Iowa Incineroar. Be sure to show some love his way, alongside with all the other coaches in the Elite Battle League. And we can't wait to see y'all for the start of Season 3, February 5th. And until next time, guys, on Infernomen's channel, make sure you check him out. Later.